Good morning, Wildings. It's time for another intuitive tarot card reading. Today we're actually going to use a special skill of mine that you might not know I have. I have a degree in psychology, so we're going to do intuitive tarot readings based on your attachment style. So this should be a very interesting reading. Let's get into the video and see what comes up. Hi Wildings, welcome to your reading for advice based on your attachment style right now. So this is a little bit of a different reading in that you're not obviously going to choose a pile based on a crystal or your intuition or a vibe, but you're going to choose a pile based on what you know your attachment style to be either generally or what you're feeling your attachment style is right now. So we have pile 1, which is the anxiously attached pile, pile 2, which is the securely attached pile, and pile 3, which is the avoidantly attached pile. If you're anxious avoidant, it might be worth watching both the first and last readings to get channeled messages for kind of both sides of the coin when it comes to your attachment. If you'd like me to do a combined reading for those styles in the future, just drop me a comment and let me know. But for now, I think that this should suffice to get all the advice and channeled messages that Spirit wants you to know right now, based on how you attach in relationship. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and select your attachment style, select your pile using the timestamps in the description box, and I will see you there for your reading very, very soon. Hey there, pile 1 and all of my anxiously attached babies. This is going to be your reading for what Spirit wants you to know or current advice based on your attachment style. I'm just going to take this off to the side. It just takes up a bit much room. But we're first just going to clarify some of the themes that are going to come up in this reading using this astrology deck. I always find that it's a good place to come home to whenever the cards are a little bit vague. But as always, just taking what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, so there will be messages in this reading for specific people, and there will be interpretations of the cards that could be slightly different based on your situation. So just using your own intuition and discernment to acknowledge any of those situations. The gift of using your own intuition for general readings is like kind of one of the best parts of getting general readings, because you really have to discern kind of like the best fit for your particular scenario, even though that the overall theme may fit with this pile. But let's get some general themes. All right, so we have some karma, the South Node coming out. This could be like past life karma or current life karma. Then we also have the lunar eclipse, which can indicate change. I often also associate this energy with like kind of dark night of the soul energy. What else do we have in terms of themes for our anxiously attached? There was something that wanted to come out. There it is. Okay. So this is our Mars energy. So it can be to do with like our masculine placement, but it's also just like generally like our passion, our drive, kind of like our boundaries, and kind of like where we stand up for ourselves and stand in our power. Like obviously when it's out of balance, it can be quite aggressive, but just based on the nature of this reading being for anxiously attached, I'm going to assume that it has something to do with like standing in your power and passion and kind of knowing what you're worth. Mars is also associated with the first house of like self and identity. It's associated with Aries energy as well as Scorpio energy, and the 8th house of like beginnings and endings and like transforming old patterns and cycles and kind of starting fresh again. So yeah, there are definitely some very interesting themes, but let's get into a little bit more detail about what Spirit wants you to know in regards for advice around your attachment style. Anxiously attached babies. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. What else have we got? Okay, let's just clarify some of these energies. We clarify the Queen of Swords and the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. And the Ace of Swords and the Star. Okay, pile 1, anxiously attached babies. This is going to be the tea. There is a lot here and a lot of really good advice for you. So first of all, this Queen of Swords energy has to do with like perception and truth and kind of like standing up for what you know to be true. I'm getting that maybe in the past, you have not always stood up for what you know to be true and for your own truth. And it's actually creating lots of dis-ease within you. You might be having some sort of like physical symptoms. I know that like pain in your legs especially might be coming up for you, or in your feet, especially on your left side. If you're not exercising your boundaries and standing in your power, like that definitely could be a thing for you. But yeah, I think you often abandon your own truth and what you know to be true for the sake of like keeping peace with others and kind of like not trying to create too much conflict and rocking the boat externally. But this Five of Pentacles indicates like that it's actually creating a lot of conflict within you internally. So yes, while you might be saving yourself some external conflict, you're actually creating a lot of internal conflict within yourself. And what your spirit guides or spirit in general or whatever you believe in, what they want you to know is like you need to be like less giving and generous. Like I'm getting that you just like give and give and give and give and give and give until you are so empty, pile 1. But Spirit's like asking you to definitely exercise some more boundaries, know what you're capable of and know what your capacity actually is and honor that. Because I'm getting that you have not honored your own capacity, and you've pushed yourself past past what's reasonable for you so many times. And kind of like the main underpinning of this is this Six of Cups energy is like a very youthful and innocent kind of energy, and it's also associated with naivety. What Spirit wants you to transform is this kind of like naivety in terms of energy into this like King of Cups energy. So King of Cups is like very empathetic and supportive, but it's from a place of like also having incredible boundaries. Like it's like a card that represents like infinite compassion, but also with boundaries of steel, and knowing when to not take on other people's stuff, and not to take it so personally. Whereas the Six of Cups is quite the opposite energy. So it's like very naive and kind of like naive in like other people's intentions, but also naive in your own capacity. And this Judgment card is really saying that you need to transform this energy right now. Like the best thing that you can do for you is definitely like kind of inviting in some healthy pessimism and just like not always assuming the best of other people, not because like they're inherently bad, but because we grow up in such a toxic environment that people are going to be toxic from time to time. And while seeing the best in people is such a beautiful gift, Like it's time for you to mature that in a way where you can see the best in people, but also exercise a lot of boundaries in terms of like not allowing people who maybe do not have the best intentions for you based on their own trauma, not allowing them to like negatively impact your life so much by creating a bit of space and distance with those people. What they want you to do is kind of like give up some of this like youthful hope. And you can have hope like in a broader sense, in like humanity in a broader sense, but don't be overly hopeful of individual people as they're working out their stuff. Like kind of like take it as face value, because when you have put all this like hope and expectation in these people, like you actually distort your own clarity of the situation. Like you're not actually seeing the situation clearly because you're so like toxically positive about it. Like it's overly optimistic to the point of like this naive energy. Like it's not actually realistic, and it actually ends up disempowering you because you're kind of like disconnected from reality. And although it is nice to kind of see the good in everything, like reality is good and bad. Like it's yin and yang. It's usually like the truth is usually a combination of both sides of the coin. And when you are only trying to look at the positive aspects all the time, you can end up creating like a very muddy, unrealistic reality for yourself, which does affect your ability to be really like empowered in reality, because you're not making choices from a state of what is, you're making choices from a state of like hope, which is like not the best in terms of like making very well-rounded choices. And it's actually like in your relationships putting you like out of balance a lot with other people. Like if you're always seeing the good in other people, you can't have a balanced relationship with them, because people probably aren't going to perceive you with the same benevolence that you perceive them. And so it'll kind of end up feeling like you're in connections where they only see the bad in you and you only see the good in them, which just hurts you. Like it's not the unbalance within yourself of like not seeing the good and the bad creates an unbalance in your connections where one of you is probably seeing more good, which is probably you, and the other person's seeing more bad. Like until you balance out seeing the good and bad like yourself, you will not be in connection equally with other people where they're seeing the good and bad in you as well. Because we definitely attract people that show us what needs to be healed, and that's definitely something that needs to be healed within you. So basically these cards to me are indicating that like to bring about this more King of Cups energy, you need to up your ante in terms of like kind of that yang energy within you, in terms of like utilizing boundaries and like stepping back and like really perceiving a situation like as objectively as possible. And then this like kind of change energy, Spirit's really asking you to like kind of transform this naivety into more of like a boundaried compassion with people, to kind of like mature you in a way that helps you clear a lot of your karma from your past. Like a lot of these attachment things are obviously what's happened to you in this life, but potentially there's some things that are carrying over from past lives. This South Node indicates like your current karma in life, but also often your past life karma. So like it seems like you're really here in this lifetime to heal a lot of this unbalance in terms of anxious attachments, which can have a lot to do with abandonment wounds. And if you're not familiar with your abandonment wounds from this lifetime, it might be good to go do a past life regression to find where there is abandonment wounds have come up for you in past lives that are carrying over into this life, so that you can really facilitate your own healing. So let's get some oracles for you, anxiously attached babies. Okay, yeah. You're definitely starting a new cycle. At the moment, you're probably like kind of right on the cusp of it, I'm getting, where you're going to be able to like really unleash the purity of your heart in a way that's like boundaried in a way that allows it to be like its most beautiful expression without causing you harm. Because like I think you obviously do have this pure heart, but it's kind of like at the moment unboundaried in a way that's causing you a lot of pain, because like I think people have potentially, like not necessarily knowingly or maliciously, been taking advantage of the purity of your heart, but yeah, it's definitely time for a new beginning in terms of nurturing yourself, potentially nurturing like the inner child within you and the wounds within you. This purity card also asks you to look within your own heart for the answers. You're probably like kind of on the cusp of unpacking that for yourself now. There's probably a lot that you're kind of like connecting to within that's answering a lot of your questions. But let's see what else we have for you, pile 1. What else do we have? What other oracles do we have for pile 1? What other oracles do we have for pile 1? I think it's really important when you're doing this healing to be grateful that like you have this pure heart. Like I think when we get into some of this healing, sometimes we can start to kind of like resent our own strengths and our own gifts. And definitely your gift is like the positive, like hopeful outlook that you have in the world, and like your pure heart and your pure intentions and like your generosity. So it's important when you're doing this healing to like remember to be grateful for all the positive ways that those things impact your life. You're not necessarily trying to change those things doing this healing. What you're doing is kind of like upping the ante in like protective factors that helps you do that with greater like clarity, power, and wisdom. Like you're not trying to give up hope. You're not trying to be pessimistic. You're not trying to like shut people out or anything like that. You're transforming the kind of container in which you are all of those things from a place of naivety to kind of like more maturity. So it's important throughout this whole process to remember to practice gratitude for, you know, your gifts, so that you don't end up resenting them while you're doing this work. But yeah, Spirit's definitely saying that you're definitely on the right path when it comes to all of this healing. Like you've probably already been doing a fair bit of it. I'm sensing, I'm sensing this is probably not super new to you, but more of like a confirmation that you're kind of like on the right path and like doing the right thing to really empower you in this Queen of Moon energy, like your sovereignty and your like kind of like next level in like divine wisdom, and kind of like transforming you from like kind of princess energy into queen energy. I'm getting like that's really where you're at right now and what you're working on. Do we have anything else? A win-win outcome is forecast for anyone who's potentially in a connection with someone right now. Like a win-win is forecast for you guys in terms of like a better balance in your connection, and for anyone who's not in connection right now, it seems like you'll probably be attracting a more balanced partnership with this kind of Libra energy. I'm definitely gonna light my cards on fire one day. Okay. Confidence is your key to success. So Spirit's reminding you that you have everything that you need to know to start this new beginning. All the answers are within. Have faith. because it's all like manifesting for you. Like definitely yeah, there's just so much good stuff coming for you. Like have confidence in yourself, have faith in yourself, know that like more balance is definitely coming. And yeah, like the conclusions that you need to come to around like this new cycle and like kind of like developing new patterns are all within your own heart. Like the answers are all within. And it's definitely going to help you show the world the real you, in terms of like kind of that Queen of Swords energy we were talking about before, like honoring your own perception and truth. Like I'm getting that you're probably very intuitive, especially with this Queen of the Moon energy. Like you probably, like your perception's probably like pretty clear a lot of the time, apart from like these like abandonment wound kind of stories that get in the way. And by doing all this work, you're going to be able to stand in your truth and your power and your clarity a lot better. And like you're going to be able to show the world the real you, not the diluted version of you that you can sometimes show to try and keep the peace. What else do we have for pile 1? Yeah, so it's time to make some healthy choices. Making healthy choices in love and life, self-love, self-care, being happier. So they're all really important messages for you right now to be working on, making healthier choices for yourself. So we also have healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addiction. Yeah, so this is definitely like going to bring about like a new kind of era for you. We're going to be like free of like both your own toxic patterns and also free from getting involved in situationships with people that like are potentially toxic as well. Yeah, so this is having more options and yeah, like kind of like unlocking lots of things. I'm getting like you're going to be unlocking lots of truths. Yeah, and kind of like letting go of like the past and all of the everything that kind of happened in the past is definitely going to help you here to create these new beginnings. Like this energy is like definitely kind of like very similar to that 8th house in terms of like destruction in order to bring about rebirth. Like there's a lot of like destruction of the old, rebirth of the new energy here. It's definitely all coming for you, pile 1, sorry. Let's get some affirmations for you lastly before we close the reading. Do we have any affirmations for pile 1 in this time? Any affirmations for pile 1? Okay, so we have a few. We have, I allow myself to rest and I reap the benefits of my hard work. I trust the divine timing of the universe and I accept and release all in my life that is beyond my power to change. I think this card is probably to do with like who you are in connections. Like I think you probably overdo it in terms of like taking on the burden of responsibility for kind of like the connection, in terms of like you probably overtake responsibility in order to keep the peace and like all of that sort of stuff. And you probably work super hard on yourself and like ask so much of yourself spiritually to kind of make up for a partner's shortcomings. But at the end of the day, like you can't change your person and like no amount of working on yourself is necessarily going to change them. And no amount of responsibility that you can take is going to make them love you, essentially. So it's definitely time to accept and release a lot of that overdoing it energy, and trusting in the divine timing of the universe. Like I think you're seeing this reading for a reason. It's definitely time for this like new beginning for you. And yeah, it's time for you to not try so hard, like allowing yourself to rest and like participate in connections equally rather than overdoing it all the time. And I know that might be, it might not make a lot of sense right now, but that's actually going to be what creates the benefit for you. Like you going 1,000 miles an hour and doing all of the working connections is just like, it's actually not allowing you to reap any of the benefits of the connection because they're not equal, they're not balanced. And so allowing yourself to step back a little bit and creating space for like your person to do more work is actually the quickest path to both of you getting this like kind of balanced connection and actually being able to enjoy the connection and having a much healthier connection. But I think that's enough to kind of like sit and ponder on, all of my anxiously attached babies. I hope you really enjoyed this reading and got out of it everything that you needed. And if the reading resonated, please comment and let me know. But in any case, like, comment and subscribe to see me again on your page very, very soon. Hey there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading for advice for your attachment style. So if you are a secure baby, then this reading is probably going to be for you. As always, we're just going to check the general themes of this reading using this astrology deck. Remembering to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. There will be some messages in this reading that are for specific people. So just utilizing your intuition and discernment regarding which messages are for you and which ones are not. Okay, so our general themes are, we've got like 3 zodiacs, so that is quite a lot and they're quite balanced. So we have Libra energy, which is obviously an air sign. So it's Gemini, and then we have Pisces, which is a water sign. We have Libra corresponding to the 7th house of partnerships, and also the 2nd house of like possessions and owning. They're both corresponding to like Venus placements and Venus energy. And then we also have Pisces, which rules the 12th house of like the subconscious mind and kind of like deep spiritual kind of like lessons in our life. And then we have Gemini, which rules the 3rd house. It's associated with our Mercury placement, which has to do with our kind of thinking and communication. Obviously, the communication side of Mercury really comes out in Gemini, whereas the more analytical side of Mercury comes out in Virgo, especially with Gemini ruling, obviously, the 3rd house of schooling and communication. So we've got a fair few different energies. We also have the 8th house of beginnings and endings, which is Pluto and Mars energy, as well as like Scorpio energy. Like Scorpios are like a very transformative energy. Yeah, I think let's get some more specifics using this astrology deck, shall we? Yeah, I'm sensing some change for you, Pile 2. We have more specific messages for Pile 2. We have messages for Pile 2, please. And we clarify the 2 of Wands and 3 of Wands. And the Hanged one, please. I'm actually just going to clarify this 3 of Wands and Ace of Swords energy. I want to know, Spirit, what more about this power and clarity and travel. And what about this belief and delusion, please, Spirit. And what about this giving? Generosity. Okay, pile 3. Seems to be for you there's definitely some sort of change impending. There's some sort of progress that's about to happen in your life that's going to essentially transform your connections with other people. I'm kind of getting a very mishmashed energy. I think there will be some people here who are in connection with someone and some people here who are about to enter into a connection with someone based on the events that are about to transpire. But it seems like there'll be some opportunity for you to travel and to collaborate with someone. I think for some people, the opportunity might be like a business adventure with someone specific, and for other people it'll be like moving either to like travel like more leisurely or moving to start a new job somewhere, and it's going to be this big shift that kind of I'm sensing like a kind of shedding of karma, and I'm sensing that it'll have to do with kind of like money and finances. Like there's some sort of like limiting belief and illusion around money and finances right now. That's kind of like disempowering you. But this shift, whatever's coming, I think for a lot of you it'll be a business adventure, either traveling for that business adventure or like collaborating with someone else in order to achieve this business adventure. But it's going to like create this like kind of new power within you and bring you a lot more alignment and happiness, especially in regards to like kind of practical things like finances. I think, yeah, there's been some sort of like negative beliefs and illusions around probably money and the way that you have to earn it. I'm getting, because these cards came out in the wand suit, which has to do with inspiration and creativity. Maybe in the past, like you thought that you had to like work really hard for money and you had to like not rest and like strive endlessly and kind of climb up the ladder. But I'm getting that like potentially there's an opportunity to have some sort of like creative adventure, whether that's like, you know, like doing something like writing or drawing, or maybe like your adventure will be traveling and documenting it. But I'm sensing it'll be something creative, like maybe it'll be like some sort of like business that encourages you to be like way more creative in your life. And it'll help you overcome some of your like hang-ups when it comes to finances and create a lot more alignment and happiness in your life. I think it'll kind of illuminate to you that maybe the hard work that you were kind of believing that was necessary in the past can feel very different if you're doing it from a very inspired place. And like you might actually be inspired to be very persistent in this venture. I'm getting that it's probably going to be with a friend. I think for the people that are not in a connection right now, it might be with a lover. But I think for the majority of people, and especially the people that are already in a connection, this venture will happen with a friend. And yeah, I'm sensing like maybe some penny pinching and frugalness right now, but that's about to be overcome. And you're kind of going to enter into this kind of like King of Pentacles energy in terms of like being a real powerhouse in your own manifestation and your own ability to provide for yourself and others. I'm going to see if there's just any last... I think like the general advice is to like kind of move forward with this like opportunity kind of full steam ahead, because it's going to like create a like really abundant new cycle for you. Yeah, I'm sensing like maybe you've been putting off pursuing this. Like maybe like as I've been speaking, you've already had some sort of venture in mind that you've kind of been avoiding and like distancing yourself from, or perhaps there's like a person who wants to create and collaborate with you that you've been distancing yourself from. Do we have anything else? Okay, we have a fair bit here. I think this new business adventure is definitely going to make you feel more emotionally fulfilled and potentially allow you to bring more emotional fulfillment to a lot of your connections. Yeah, I feel like you've kind of been betraying yourself in some way in the past. I'm getting that maybe, okay, so I'm just getting a lot of downloads, sorry for the pausing, but I'm getting that maybe like in this old like pattern that you have with money, like you're kind of working in a very yang masculine way, but I'm getting that you're actually much more of this divine feminine energy, especially with this Libra card corresponding to like the Venus placement. I'm getting that you're a divine feminine energy, like kind of you're working in a very yang way. And I'm getting that it was like negatively impacting your, like your satisfaction with the way that you were earning money, because it wasn't coming from this like kind of feminine place of like creativity and inspiration and like freedom and flow. It was like kind of very structured. And like it was like essentially in direct conflict with kind of your own energy. Like you're working in a way that was in conflict with your own energy. And I'm getting that this conflict has maybe been manifesting in your relationship for those of you who are in a connection already. Like the conflict that you were having in terms of like having to show up very yang in your work life was actually like translating to you not being able to embrace this feminine energy in your relationship either. So you're kind of like taking on this more yang role in your connection, and you weren't like kind of able to experience the fullness of the Empress in terms of like her very surrendering, go with the flow, like inspired, creative like energy. And in the past you were definitely like kind of like I'm sensing that you kind of always knew that you were not supposed to be like in the grind in this way, but you're kind of like ignoring that in the past. But like at the moment there's like going to be something going on in your life that will kind of make it impossible for you to ignore, and impossible for you to kind of like not change the way that you're operating in terms of finances and abundance in life. Like there's definitely something's going to go down where you're basically going to have to like drop like all of this like very yang way of producing and move into a very yin feminine, like receptive, creative, go with the flow kind of way of attracting abundance in your life. And it's actually going to have like a huge positive effect on your relationship. I'm sensing for the people that are in relationship, like you'll be able to be more in that Empress energy and allow your partner to be more in that Emperor, like protective provider energy. Like you won't be fighting to be yang all the time. And for those that aren't in a connection, like I'm sensing that by you embracing this divine feminine and like going with the flow with that a lot more, like you're actually going to open yourself up to attracting a partner that's actually right for you. Because maybe some of your struggles in the past was like you were too much in this yang energy, and so you weren't actually attracting like yang partners. You're probably attracting kind of wishy-washy divine masculines that were like way too in their feminine to try and balance out your yang, or maybe you were just like clashing heads in that kind of yang energy. But yeah, shit is really going to go down for you like in a hot minute, and it's going to bring about like there's definitely a time for like so much more joy and celebration and alignment and happiness in your life. You'll be able to like enjoy the way that you like receive money and receive abundance in life, and it's going to be like much more of this like divine feminine like play and go with the flow kind of energy. And for those that are not in a connection, it's definitely going to draw a partner in for sure. Do we have any other oracles for pile 2, please? Any other oracles for pile 2? Yeah, so in this like change, you're definitely going to be more connected to your inner wisdom and your inner truth. But at the same time, like this shift might present like a challenge for you in terms of like shifting out of that yang and into that yin. It might be like a real process for you to like kind of adjust. And so it's important that you like are really tuning in to look for the answers within yourself to like overcome the challenge of moving away from that like yang means of production and into a more yin means of receiving. Like it's definitely going to ask a lot of you, but the benefit is going to be so much. You're going to be way more in your divine feminine energy, and it's just going to feel so much better. You're going to feel just like so much more abundant and in the flow of life, and just like enjoying your life a lot more, for sure. Do we have anything else for pile 2? Yeah, I think you're definitely going to be asked to trust in this change a lot. Like there's probably going to be a period of uncertainty straight away as you move away from this yang and into the yin. Like it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel clunky, it's going to take you a while to kind of find your groove, and you're potentially going to like have your emotions running high for a little while in terms of like maybe being stressed about money and maybe like just not being sure because you're doing something like super different to everything that you'd ever done in the past. But it's all bringing about like the best for you. And I'm sensing that maybe like some of the reason why you haven't pursued this in the past is maybe like you've got some like wounds to clear in terms of like being good enough to receive, without having to like drive yourself so hard to like earn. Like you're definitely like kind of shifting from like a work hard to earn to a like I'm good enough and worthy of receiving kind of energy. It's definitely going to be a big shake up, pile 2. It's going to be difficult, but you will get through it, I promise. Any last Moonology oracles for pile 2? Yeah, so this is going to be like a new start in terms of finances, and everything is that you want is within reach right now. You really just need to trust and move towards it, because it's going to be like super aligned with what's authentic for you. So yeah, like definitely break up with the way that you've been moving through the world in the past, because it just does not pass the vibe check, my guy. There may be like people in your life that you can reach out to and like connect with and like talk about some of the things that you're going through. This may also mean like a person like moving towards you to connect and communicate, if you're like say that more single energy. But yeah, there's going to be a relationship evolving. Either the people that are already in relationship that are like having that conflict between divine feminine and divine masculine and like too much yang in their divine feminine counterpart, your relationship will evolve into a new phase where you're able to like fit into your perspective roles a little bit easier, because you'll have like healed and grown in a different way. And for those who are single right now, like you'll have a new like relationship evolving from the changes that you're making, that's more aligned with where you're at now. Do we have any last affirmations for pile 2, please? Any last affirmations for pile 2, please? Any last affirmations for pile 2, please? I trust in the divine guidance of my inner wisdom. All the answers exist within. Yeah, so in this like turbulent time where you're like shifting a lot, just remembering to go within to find as many answers as you need in regards to like bringing about this change that's impending. All of the answers exist within, and it's all part of your own divine guidance towards a more authentic expression of your own energy. So really trusting your inner wisdom here. Yeah, there's lots of good things to come, and like, yeah, you definitely have all the answers within. And this new start is definitely not that far away. If you can trust in this divine guidance and inner wisdom and like moving towards what feels really good in your life. But I think I'm going to leave that here, pile 2. I think that's enough to kind of like ponder on. I hope it inspired and encouraged you. But if you would like to see me again on your page very, very soon, please like, comment, and subscribe to help make that happen. And I will see you again for another reading very, very soon. Hey there, pile 3, all of my avoidantly attached babies. If you are an avoidantly attached person, then this reading is probably going to be for you. I'm just going to take that aside because it does take up a little bit too much room. We're going to first check the general themes or energies of your advice and reading, pile 3, using this astrology deck. And just remembering to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's a general reading, so there will be some messages here that are for specific people, and there will be sometimes better interpretations for the cards that you are absolutely at liberty to discern. Okay, Saturn and Truth. Do we have any other themes for pile 3's reading, please? Any advice for pile 3? Advice for pile 3. Any themes for pile 3? Themes for pile 3. Okay, so we have a bit here. So we have the second house of owning. This is also like heavy Taurus energy. It can be to do with our Venus placement as well. And it's a lot to do with like money, how we determine our value in life. We have our Saturn, which is a kind of like seeker of truths, but also like truth in terms of like our responsibility to honor our life purpose. It can be to do with like kind of like taking responsibility for that life purpose and like really igniting the discipline and structure in order to kind of live out that truth. Then we have the Mercury retrograde card, which has to do with reinvention, like kind of starting new cycles. And also like it can be a real time for communication in Mercury retrograde. It's our thinking and communicating planetary placement. It does have a lot to do with the third house of messages and school, and also Gemini energy. We also have the Sagittarius card, which is obviously a fire sign. It's mutable. It's associated with the 9th house of like spiritual development and faith and learning. And it's a real like curiosity and kind of like seeker kind of energy. And then we also have the Destiny card, which is pretty self-explanatory. I would say the Destiny card probably is a lot of synchronicity with this Saturn, kind of like following your life purpose kind of energy. But let's get a few more specifics about what advice we have for y'all avoidantly attached people. I'm also anxiously attached people that are here. I can see you, like I see you. I see you getting a reading for an avoidantly attached person that you're potentially in partnership with. It's fine, stay. I'd probably do the same thing, to be honest. But let's get some more messages for our avoidantly attached. Can we clarify the World and the Ace of Swords, please? And the Fool and Three of Wands. Okay, this is a very interesting reading. Pile 3, I am going to be so real with you right now. This might be a little bit uncomfy, but there's someone in your sphere that is so good for you and so good for helping you heal your attachment wounds with this Lovers card coming out. They're potentially a divine counterpart or just a very significant connection. And honestly, Spirit is asking you to potentially like reapproach this connection if you've cut them off in some way. Like I'm getting that potentially you've either like distanced yourself from them, like you're not kind of emotionally invested right now. And there's some sort of space between the two of you, whether that's like separation or whatever. But Spirit, in terms of your growth, wants you to find the courage within to reapproach this connection. And there's a lot of advice here about how to go about that, because there's a lot of things, like there's a lot of like legitimate fears and legitimate like concerns I see for you. But we're going to unpack that for you, Pile 3, and see what we can do about kind of like shifting some things for you so that you can reapproach connections with much more power. Because these two cards coming out are telling me that there's definitely a real potential for you in the very near future to be kind of entering into a new phase of like power and clarity, feeling more empowered within yourself and feeling like less afraid of intimacy and connection with someone. I can see in the past that you've definitely been very hurt. I'm sensing probably some rejection wounds, like potentially being rejected by people. But this Knight of Pentacles energy is a very persistent energy. And it's also a manifesting energy. So I'm getting there's kind of like two pieces of advice for you. The first is to kind of like manifest your own healing, and also manifesting like kind of connections maybe going in a different direction than what you would expect based on your past. Kind of like reinventing the script in terms of relationships for you through like your own visualizations. And also like persisting with connections, even though it can be very tempting to just like walk away from them and like try not to connect with anyone, especially not on a deep level. Spirit's really asking you to persist. For some of you here, a strategy to help you persist with these connections might be like kind of taking the fear out of rejection for you. So I know there's like dating coaches that get people to like approach like 10 people a day and ask them for their number. Like that's totally a strategy that might fit well for you to kind of like take the power out of rejection. Because yes, rejection is a part of life, and yes, you've experienced a lot in life that would make you afraid of rejection. But by like reapproaching rejection often, you can take some of the power out of it and realize that a lot of the rejections are not about you. It's actually about the other person, or just like spiritual intervention that the two of you aren't supposed to be. And so you're being like divinely protected. I think there's some saying, I'm probably going to butcher it, but rejection is divine protection. Like some of the rejections you've experienced in the past, like absolutely weren't about you. They were to do with like divinely protecting you from a path that wasn't made for you. And like that lesson will be ingrained more in your body if you physically do like act on that potential fear by like approaching people and like striking up conversation and like allowing the rejection to happen if it does, but also embracing the amount of times that you actually won't be rejected at all by people, and people will actually like want to get to know you. I think like all of this is like lessons that you can be like empowering yourself to learn right now. Like the Eight of Pentacles card is definitely a like learning kind of energy. And I'm getting like maybe you have resisted this learning in the past because you actually didn't have a lot of hope that like anything could be any different for you, or that you could like kind of like grow and like allow those fears to be there and for them to come up, and for you to choose to kind of like let them sit there and not impact your decisions, and not like kind of derail you from things that like actually feel really good, and allowing you to kind of like start things with people. Like I'm getting that maybe you didn't ever start anything with anyone because you were just so lacking in hope that you would ever be able to show up in connection differently. But definitely what I'm getting for you is like a new cycle, like a new start. What's been holding you back from this new start has definitely been like kind of like fear of like connecting with people, fear of approaching people, and then also like fear of intimacy, and because you're afraid that that intimacy will come ultimately with some sort of like rejection. But yeah, these are the things that kind of need to transform within you, like through this like education and practice. It might like be something physical, like having an embodied lesson is definitely very positive, but also you can like intellectualize it a little bit. If you're not there yet, you can like read books about attachment and like just learn more about it, if you're not quite ready to like take this action yet. But it seems like for the majority of people here, there's someone kind of like in the wings that definitely could facilitate a lot of this like healing with you. And that's not to say that you're going to be completely different overnight, but I'm sensing that they're the kind of person that will stand by you and allow you to kind of like explore your own stuff, to like kind of unpack your like your own past and your own truth, and like everything that's kind of led you to this kind of like pivotal point. Like I'm sensing like a very supportive energy. There's someone there that wants to support you. You just need to develop the courage to like pursue this connection, and like allow all of the anxieties that you have around it to be there without them like derailing you or like taking over. So definitely practicing meditation right now would be super, super helpful. Like meditation can help us be more metacognitive. So you can kind of like witness your thoughts and witness your anxieties from more of a detached place. And that's what stops them from kind of like running away with you and kind of like derailing any chance of like connection. Like it'll stop you from self-sabotaging as much. But yeah, for a lot of you, I'm seeing that like this potential person like might actually be like your person. So yeah, like there should be less innate rejection in the connection. Like rejection happens, like that's part of life. But this person definitely will offer you safe space to explore that. And they're definitely going to offer you space for healing, because this person, whoever it is, has very pure intentions for you. Pile 3, they just want you to be your best self. They want you to like enjoy life and enjoy connections and enjoy love as much as possible. And they really like just wanting to see you at your highest good and your best. Like I'm getting that this person is just not malicious at all, and that you can really trust to do work with them. Will they be perfect? No, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to say and do things that will trigger you. That's all part of the healing though. If you can like develop this space with this person where you can really connect and see eye to eye, when that does happen, when you do get triggered, like you guys will be able to move through it and like talk about it and kind of like, yeah, move through it together. But yeah, definitely whoever it is that you're feeling attracted to, I'm sensing that you're feeling attracted to them for the right reasons. Like, you're definitely feeling attracted to them because they have a lot of potential to facilitate healing with you. And I'm getting that, like, maybe you can exercise a lot more gratitude for the rejections from your past. Like, as I was saying before, like, rejection is a form of divine protection. And like, I'm sensing that maybe a lot of the reasons why you were rejected in the past was actually trying to align you with this person who's in your life in some way right now or about to come in. Like, all of those rejections, all of those things that have kind of built up this intense fear within you, like, they were supposed to happen so that you ended up with the person you're destined for, which is this new lover. Like, trying to see it from a bigger, more spiritual perspective will definitely help, and it'll definitely, like, facilitate a lot of healing for you. Yeah, like, you were meant to be rejected from those other people because I'm sensing that you're made for this person who's in your life right now. Pile 3. And it's like spirit just trying to align the two of you and make sure that you ended up together. So that in itself could potentially just, like, shift so much for you. Yeah, I'm sensing, like, a big change impending for you very soon. And just for you to have a lot of patience with yourself through this change. Like, I'm sensing that it's going to probably bring up a lot. You're going to be triggered a lot. And just be, like, as kind as possible to yourself. And also be as kind as possible to your person, because they're probably also healing. And they're not going to show up perfectly either. So just, like, having lots of patience with each other, so that you can work through your fears, because like you're both going to have a lot of fears come up with all this triggering that's potentially going to happen in order to facilitate your healing. But know that it's meant to, like, go that way. Like, the fears are meant to get, like, kind of rubbed up against and then brought to your attention so that you can work through it. And because that's how you change it. Like, that's how you change the pattern, by allowing the pattern to kind of, like, reignite in terms of being triggered. And then, like, choosing different like, perspectives and actions changes the outcome. Like, you're going to, like, there's 2, like, change cards here. Like, you're definitely going through a period of change, pile 3. And, like, how you're going to approach connection after this connection is definitely going to be super different. Okay. It's time to take action. If you're not taking action on this connection, who you're thinking of when I'm speaking right now, like, that is, like, so on you. I'm getting spirit saying, like, if you're not taking action, that's on you. Like, spirit is definitely here saying that this connection is going to be so good for you. So take action on it. Like, don't wait. I know that your emotions are, like, running high and, like, it's creating lots of, like, stress and you're, like, really not sure. But it's important that you trust, because you can't end this tough cycle, like, this tough pattern of avoidance in connection, if you don't, like, if you don't adjust the way that you've been showing up in connection in the past. And if you don't believe that you're good enough, like, you are good enough. Like, you absolutely are good enough. Like, hold on to the vision of the more healed version of you that you want to be, because, like, holding on to that vision and being confident in yourself is the key to success. Like, so much can happen here in this connection if you're confident and, like meditate and manifest that, like, version of you in relationship that you really want to be. Like, there's just so much good energy here. So much potential. I can feel that you're a little bit scared and nervous, but, like, honestly, it's like, there's a lot of good things prepared to line up with you if you will line up with them. Okay, so we have the camera card, which is about learning from the past. So, like, it might be time to reflect on like your past and all of that rejection that you interpreted as about you being not good enough, and kind of looking at it again through the lens of, hey, I am good enough and what's meant for me won't go past me, and just kind of like looking at your past and kind of like changing the way that you see it and changing your narratives around it. But yeah, Spirit's definitely asking you to stop like not showing your hand, like take a gamble on this connection, take a chance, take that risk, because Spirit is here to tell you that it will pay off. You will be rewarded for taking that risk, but you do need to move towards it in order to experience this dragonfly, like lightheartedness, things coming to light, adapting, changing, and healing energy. Like if you don't take a chance and risk for this connection, like you'll never experience this healing. And Spirit wants you to experience that healing. Like you deserve it. Like you deserve to feel like, yeah, you just deserve to feel the same love that everyone else does. Like you are loved, you are enough. Take a chance, take a risk. Pile 3. Can we get affirmations? I am divinely protected at all times and in all ways. I am safe from all harm. Yeah, I think this is like basically the big theme of this reading, that all of the rejections that you experienced in the past, pile 3, were all part of divine protection. Like you are so safe from harm. Like Spirit has always been on your side and intervening in a way that brings about like your destiny. Yeah, so please don't take any of the rejections from the past personally. Like it was all meant to happen for you to reach the point that you're at now and for you to find this connection that you're experiencing now, and that you need to like take action with and move towards, to end like this kind of like old pattern of avoidance and to enter into this like new healing phase with this person. But I think I'm going to leave that there, pile 3. I think that's enough to like ponder on. There's definitely a lot here and a lot of like encouragement to take action right now. But I'm going to leave that with you, remembering that you can always come back here and like re-listen if you ever need like another burst of like confidence and inspiration. But if this reading resonated, please comment. I would love to hear. And in any case, if you'd like to see me on your page a lot more often, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will be here. See you next time. That's all I have for you guys today. My name's Drgree Wilding, and I will be on this page doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So if you'd like to see me on your page a lot more for readings just like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, especially if your reading resonated, so that we can make that happen. Until next time.